When disaster hits, stores get stripped bare in hours. And it's never the stuff you expect, because knowing what disappears first could mean the difference between being ready or showing up with an empty cart when things go sideways. Hey everyone, I dug into real data from past emergencies. Pandemics, hurricanes, blackouts, even panic buying frenzies. What I found? Certain items vanish first every single time, and most people don't see it coming until it's too late. In this video, I'm breaking down the 20 things that disappear fastest before any disaster, war, or emergency, including some surprising ones like jelly, bread, and baby wipes. You'll learn why they're targeted, how shortages start, and what price hikes look like when panic sets in. Drop a comment below with something you've noticed disappearing fast during emergencies. We want to hear your story too. Remember 2020? Yeah, that year. The one where the phrase hand sanitizer suddenly became part of everyday talk. It wasn't just for hospitals or road trips anymore. No way. It was everywhere. Or at least, it should have been. Stores couldn't keep it on shelves. Online prices spiked. People were making their own at home with vodka and aloe vera, which honestly didn't always work out so well. Hand sanitizer went from being an afterthought to liquid gold overnight. You'd walk into a store and see empty shelves where gallons of Purell used to sit. People were buying it by the case. Offices had it at every entrance. Schools handed it out like candy. Why did this happen? Because for a while, washing your hands wasn't always possible, and sanitizing became the next best thing. Everyone wanted to feel safe, and rubbing something on your hands that killed germs, it gave people peace of mind. It wasn't just about hygiene, it was about control. When everything else felt uncertain, having that little bottle in your bag or pocket made you feel ready, prepared. And let's be real, we all used it more than ever before. Some of us probably sanitized our hands more times a day than we washed our faces. But here's the kicker, it wasn't just adults stocking up. Kids had mini bottles in their backpacks. Teachers kept refills at their desks. Even gas stations started limiting how many bottles one person could buy. So yeah, hand sanitizer might not seem like a survival essential. But when disaster hits, whether it's a global pandemic or a local outbreak, it's one of the first things people grab. Not because it's fancy, but because it works. And because when panic sets in, everyone wants to feel clean. 19 batteries. Remember when you tried turning on your flashlight during a blackout only to realize the batteries were dead? Yeah, that moment stinks. And guess what? During emergencies, batteries become one of those things everyone suddenly needs, all at once. We rely on batteries more than we think. Flashlights, radios, remote controls, smoke detectors, even some medical devices. When the power goes out, suddenly everyone remembers how many gadgets in their house run on AA or ApoA batteries. Stores start seeing long lines at the battery aisle. People are grabbing whatever they can find, not just for flashlights, but for anything that might help them stay connected or safe. Some stock up by the pack, others buy every last bundle in sight. And let's be honest, most of us don't think about batteries until we need them. That's why when disaster hits, they vanish fast. No one wants to be stuck in the dark, literally. Online prices jump. Retailers limit purchases. Suddenly a $5 pack feels like a precious resource. It's not just about convenience either. In emergencies, staying informed matters. A working radio could mean hearing an important weather alert or emergency update. And without batteries, that radio is just a useless box. So yeah, batteries may seem small, but they're huge when the lights go out. And trust me, if you wait too long to grab some, you'll end up borrowing from the TV remote. Again, 18 flashlights. So you've got your batteries ready, but wait, do you even have a flashlight? Because when disaster hits, that trusty beam of light becomes a lifeline. Suddenly everyone remembers how much we depend on electricity. When the power goes out, whether it's from a storm, blackout, or something worse, people start scrambling for anything that can light up a dark room. Flashlights are one of those things you don't think about until you need them. And when you do need them, everyone else does too. Stores get picked clean, online listings show out of stock. And suddenly your old camping flashlight from 2003 starts looking like a treasure. It's not just about seeing in the dark, it's about safety, checking on pipes, walking around the house at night, or even signaling for help. A flashlight gives you control when everything else feels uncertain. 17. Matches and lighters. When the power goes out, fire becomes your best friend, and suddenly matches and lighters are like gold. You need them for candles, camping stoves, gas heaters, or even starting a fire in an emergency. And when disaster hits, people start realizing just how many things depend on a simple flame. Stores see it every time there's a big storm or blackout. People rush in looking for anything that sparks. Shelves get cleared out fast. Some walk in with a list, others just grab whatever they can find. And let's be honest, not everyone keeps a lighter or box of matches at home these days. With electric stoves and push-button igniters, we've gotten used to life without them. But when things go sideways, that convenience disappears fast. Suddenly you're borrowing a lighter from your neighbor or trying to strike a match with shaky hands. Not ideal when you're trying to stay calm and warm. Online prices jump, retailers limit sales. Some stores even tag them as emergency only to slow down the panic buying. It's not just about lighting a candle either. In real emergencies, having a way to start a fire could mean cooking food, boiling water, or staying warm when heat's out. So yeah, matches and lighters may seem old school, but when the grid fails, they become one of those small things that make a huge difference. And once they're gone, you better hope someone nearby still has a working Zippo 16 manual can openers. You've got a pantry full of canned beans, tuna, and soup. It's all the good stuff that lasts forever. But wait, though, how are you planning to open those cans? That's where things get real, because when the power goes out or your electric can opener won't charge, a manual can opener suddenly becomes one of the most important tools in your kitchen. And guess what? When disaster hits, people forget about this tiny but vital gadget until it's too late. They're stocking up on food, water, batteries, but not the thing that actually gets the food out of the can. Stores feel it fast. Shelves that normally hold a few basic can openers are picked clean overnight. Online listings show back orders. Suddenly, this little hand crank tool is flying off the shelves like it's going out of style. It's not just about survival either. It's about practicality. You can have the best emergency food stash in town, but if you can't open it, it's just decoration. Some folks realize this last minute and start borrowing from neighbors. Others try using knives or rocks, which never ends well. And here's the kicker. They don't take up much space. They're cheap. And yet every time there's a storm warning or panic buying moment, people forget them until everyone's scrambling for the last one at the hardware store. So yeah, while it might not be glamorous, a manual can opener is definitely one of those small things that makes a huge difference when the lights go out. And once they're gone, good luck finding one till the crisis passes. 15. Baby wipes, wet wipes. When disaster hits, you might not expect baby wipes to fly off the shelves, but trust me, they're one of the first things to go. Sure, they're called baby wipes, but let's be real. Everyone uses them for cleaning counters, wiping hands, freshening up when showers are scarce, or just surviving a messy situation with some dignity. During emergencies, hygiene becomes a real issue, especially if water is limited or power's out for days. That's when baby wipes turn into multi-purpose must-haves. Suddenly, they're not just for diaper changes anymore, they're survival tools. Stores start seeing parents panic buying by the case, people without kids are grabbing them too, and once people realize how useful they are in a pinch, it's wipe season all over again. Online prices jump, retailers limit how many packs one person can buy. Shelves that used to hold big stacks of wipes, gone in a flash, and let's not forget, wipes don't just help adults, pets get dirty too. So do phones, glasses, and anything else you need to clean without running water. It's not something most people plan for, but once they've lived through an emergency without wipes, they never make that mistake again. So yeah, while it may seem odd at first, baby wipes have earned their spot on this list. When life gets messy, and it will, these little squares of freshness become more than just a convenience. They're a lifeline. 14. Pet food. You're grabbing water, snacks, and batteries. But what about Fido? Turns out when disaster hits, pet food is one of the first things to vanish from store shelves. People panic for themselves, sure, but they really panic when it comes to their pets. Dogs, cats, even birds and hamsters, everyone needs to eat. And when supply chains get shaky or stores close early, pet parents start stocking up fast. Retailers see it every time, people buying extra bags of kibble, canned pet food flying off the shelves, and online orders backlogged for days. Some stores even limit how many bags one person can buy. Because yes, people do hoard dog food. And let's be honest, a hungry dog with sad eyes is not something most of us can handle. Even people who don't normally keep extra food around suddenly realize they should have had a backup bag. It's not just about love either, it's about routine. Pets rely on regular meals, and running out means dealing with a stressed out animal who doesn't understand why their bowl is empty. Some try to improvise, feeding pets human food, but That doesn't always work, and sometimes it's dangerous. So, the real solution? Having enough pet food stored away before the chaos hits. So, yeah, while it might not be the first thing on your emergency list, pet food definitely belongs here. Because when push comes to shove, your pup isn't going to care that the grocery store is sold out. They just want dinner. 13. Diapers. When disaster hits, one thing becomes painfully clear. Babies don't stop making messes just because the world is falling apart. And that's why diapers are always among the first things to vanish from store shelves when panic sets in. Parents know the drill. Running out of diapers isn't an option. Not for a day, not for an hour. And when there's a storm warning, power outage, or supply chain scare, people start buying in bulk fast. Retailers see it every time. Aisles that were fully stocked one day become completely bare the next. Online listings show delays. Some stores even limit how many packs a parent can buy at once. But let's be real, it never feels like enough. It's not just about convenience either. It's about hygiene and sanity. Without clean diapers, things get messy. Literally. And when water is scarce or laundry isn't an option, disposable diapers become a lifeline for exhausted parents trying to keep their little ones comfortable. Some try to switch to cloth diapers in a pinch, but not everyone has the setup or time to make that work during a crisis. So the demand for disposables stays sky high. And here's the kicker. Diaper need doesn't slow down. Not during a hurricane, not during a pandemic, not even during a holiday weekend. Which means if you wait too long to grab some, you'll be standing in line at 5 a.m. hoping for a restock. So yeah, while it might not be the first item on your emergency list, diapers definitely belong here. Because when you've got a screaming baby and no clean diapers, that's your personal emergency. 12. Ibuprofen and Tylenol. When the world goes sideways, one thing people always want nearby is pain relief, and that's why ibuprofen and Tylenol are among the first things to disappear when disaster hits. It makes sense. Emergencies don't stop headaches, fevers, or aches. If anything, stress and physical strain make them worse. So when people start prepping, they grab these over-the-counter meds like they're going out of style. Stores feel it fast. Shelves that used to hold rows of small medicine bottles go bare overnight. Pharmacies limit sales. People stock up not just for themselves, but for the whole family, just in case. And let's be honest, most of us keep these in our cabinets year-round. But during a crisis, suddenly everyone realizes they're out and need to replace them right now. It's not just about minor aches either. These meds help with injuries, cold symptoms, inflammation, even fever reduction during sickness. In emergencies, having a way to manage pain or illness at home becomes crucial, especially if medical access is limited. Some try to substitute with old remedies or whatever they can find, but nothing beats a solid dose of ibuprofen when your back is killing you from hauling supplies or sleeping on the floor. And once stores run out, good luck finding a bottle without paying double online. It happens every time, whether it's flu season, a winter storm, or something bigger. So yeah, while it might not be the flashiest item on this list, ibuprofen and Tylenol are total essentials. Because when life hurts, literally, you'll wish you had an extra bottle stashed somewhere safe.
11. Cough medicine. When illness hits during a crisis, one thing becomes painfully obvious. Nothing's worse than being stuck with a cough and no relief. That's why when disaster looms, whether it's a flu outbreak, pandemic, or just a nasty cold going around, cough medicine is one of the first things to vanish from store shelves. People start stocking up fast. Parents grab bottles for their kids. Adults raid the pharmacy aisle, hoping to quiet that tickle before it gets worse. And let's be honest, once you're up all night coughing into a pillow, you'll do anything to find some relief. Retailers feel the pressure every time. Shelves that used to hold rows of syrup bottles go bare overnight. Some stores limit how many bottles one person can buy. Online prices skyrocket. Suddenly, what used to be a $10 bottle feels like liquid gold. It's not just about comfort either. A bad cough can mean sleepless nights, sore muscles, and even trouble breathing in serious cases. When medical access is limited or you're trying to avoid crowded clinics, having something at home makes a huge difference. And let's not forget, coughs spread fast, especially when people are cooped up together indoors during storms or blackouts. One sick person can turn into a household full of sniffles and sore throats in no time. So yeah, while it might not be the first thing on your emergency list, cough medicine definitely belongs here, because when your throat feels like sandpaper and your chest won't quit, you'll wish you had a bottle tucked away somewhere safe. 10. Feminine hygiene products. When disaster strikes, some essentials get overlooked, but for half the population, feminine hygiene products aren't just a convenience, they're a necessity. And yet, when panic buying kicks in, these items are among the first to vanish from store shelves. Pharmacies clear out fast, online listings show delays, and suddenly, what used to be a regular monthly purchase becomes something you have to plan for months in advance. It's not hard to see why. Emergencies don't stop periods, storms don't care about schedules, neither does stress, which, ironically, can make things even more unpredictable. Retailers feel the rush every time there's a big event. People start stocking up early, grabbing extra boxes of tampons or packs of pads, just in case. Some stores even limit how many one person can buy. Because, yes, hoarding happens here too. And let's be real, going without these products isn't an option. Without access to them, people end up improvising with whatever they can find, which is uncomfortable at best and unhygienic at worst. It's also about dignity. Being prepared shouldn't mean scrambling last minute or asking around for help. But when supplies run low and stores are bare, that's exactly what happens. Some try to switch to reusable options in a pinch, like menstrual cups or cloth pads, but not everyone has them on hand when chaos hits. So yeah, while this topic doesn't always make the headlines, feminine hygiene products absolutely belong on this list. Because when life gets messy, literally, having what you need on hand makes all the difference. 9. Dish soap. When disaster hits, you might not think about dish soap right away. But trust me, once you've got a pile of dirty plates and no way to clean them, it suddenly becomes a big deal. It starts small. You open a can of beans, grab a spoon, and realize there's no running water. Showers are off limits. Water is being saved for drinking. And now every plate, eat, and fork you use stays dirty, unless you've got something to clean them with. That's when people start grabbing dish soap like it's going extinct. Stores see it every time. Shelves that were full one day go bare the next. Online prices jump. Some people even start rationing their last few drops. And let's be honest, we all use more than we think. It's not just for dishes. People use it to wash veggies, wipe down counters, or even do a quick hand scrub when there's no sanitizer left. Without it, things get messy. Fast. Sticky fingers, grimy surfaces, and a growing stack of bowls that no one wants to touch. Suddenly, dinner isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you're going to clean up after. Some try alternatives. Laundry detergent, bad idea. Shampoo, not great. Or baking soda, a little help, but not a full fix. None of them work quite like good old dish soap. So yeah, while it might not be the first thing on your emergency list, dish soap definitely belongs here because when life gets dirty, literally, you'll wish you had a bottle stashed somewhere handy.
8. Bleach. Cleaning supplies. When things go sideways, people don't just worry about food and water. They start worrying about germs. And that's when bleach, disinfectant wipes, and cleaning sprays become some of the fastest vanishing items from store shelves. Suddenly, everyone remembers how important cleanliness is. Countertops need wiping, floors need mopping, surfaces need sanitizing, and when there's a health scare or a power outage lasting days, staying clean becomes a top priority, especially if you're trying to avoid sickness in close quarters. Retailers see it every time. Aisles that once held neatly stacked bottles of bleach and multi-purpose cleaners are picked clean overnight. People are buying by the gallon, some even switch brands just to grab whatever's left. And let's be real, it's not just about looking tidy, it's about safety. Disinfecting high-touch areas, cleaning up after pets, or purifying water in extreme cases, all of it depends on having a little bit of cleaning power on hand. Online prices spike fast. Stores limit purchases. Some even tag them as emergency essentials to slow down the rush, but it never slows it down completely. Some try to improvise with vinegar or baking soda, but those don't always cut it when you're trying to kill viruses or bacteria. So when the panic hits, people want the real stuff, and they want it now. So yeah, while it might not seem like a survival item at first glance, bleach and cleaning supplies definitely belong here, because when life gets messy, and it will, you'll wish you had a bottle tucked away somewhere safe. 7. Water bottles. Gallons. When disaster hits, people know they need water, but here's the twist. Most underestimate how much they'll actually need. It's not just about drinking. You need water for cooking, cleaning, washing hands, and even flushing toilets in some cases. And when the tap suddenly feels unsafe or stops running altogether, panic mode kicks in. Stores feel it fast. Shelves that used to hold neat rows of bottled water go completely bare. Big jugs that no one ever bought before become gold. People start grabbing whatever they can carry. Cases of small bottles, giant 5-gallon jugs, even old milk containers they've rinsed out just in case. And let's be honest, most of us don't think about water until it's gone. We assume it'll always flow when we turn the tap, but during blackouts, storms, or contamination scares, that assumption goes out the window. Some refill at gas stations or public fountains, others ration what they have, but once stores run out and lines get long, it becomes clear. Having a stash of clean water ahead of time is one of the smartest moves you can make. Online prices jump, retailers limit sales, delivery trucks struggle to keep up with demand, so yeah, while it might seem obvious, water still deserves its spot on this list, and not just because you need it to survive. It's because when it starts disappearing, you realize just how many other things stop working without it. 6. Bread. When disaster looms, people rush to buy all sorts of things, but one of the first items to vanish from store shelves is something simple: bread. It might not seem like a survival food at first glance, but think about it. Bread pairs perfectly with just about anything: peanut butter, jelly, cheese, canned tuna, leftover soup. Suddenly it becomes the base of every emergency meal. Stores start seeing long lines at the bakery aisle. Shelves that were full in the morning are completely bare by noon. People are grabbing 2, 3, even 4 loaves just in case. And let's be real, half of them probably didn't even plan on using it all. And here's the funny part: some people aren't even big bread eaters, but when panic sets in, everyone wants a loaf or two. It's comfort food in uncertain times. Of course, the run on bread usually kicks off early, sometimes even before the actual emergency hits. Word spreads fast, and suddenly everyone's baking, sandwich making, or just hoarding for no real reason other than better safe than sorry. Online bakeries get flooded with orders. Some stores limit how many loaves one person can buy. Others start selling out within hours. So yeah, while it might not be the most obvious item on this list, bread definitely belongs here. Because when life gets weird, nothing feels more normal or comforting than a warm slice slathered in butter. 5. Peanut butter. When disaster hits, people don't just grab survival food, they grab comfort food. And that's why peanut butter is one of the first things to vanish from store shelves. It makes sense. Peanut butter is cheap, filling, packed with protein, and has a shelf life that feels almost suspiciously long. It's the ultimate pantry staple, especially when you're trying to stretch meals or keep kids full without power. Stores start seeing the rush early. Shelves that once held big jars of creamy and crunchy are picked clean overnight. 4. Jelly, jam. Peanut butter may grab the spotlight, but let's be real. It doesn't want to be alone, and that's why jelly and jam are always among the first things to vanish when disaster hits, because what's a PB&J without the J? Just sad peanut butter on bread, that's what. And in times of stress, people don't just want food, they want comfort. Something familiar, something sweet, something that makes them feel like everything's going to be okay. Stores feel the rush fast. Shelves that used to hold rows of grape, strawberry, and blackberry jars go bare overnight. People start grabbing multiple jars just in case. Some even switch from their usual flavor just to get something off the shelf. And here's the thing: jelly isn't just for sandwiches. In emergencies, people use it on crackers, toast, or straight off a spoon when things get overwhelming. It's portable, long-lasting, and weirdly satisfying when you're trying to keep morale up. Online prices jump. Retailers limit sales. And suddenly that $3 jar becomes something you think twice about sharing. So yeah, while it might not seem like a survival item at first glance, jelly definitely belongs here, because when life gets messy and uncertain, sometimes all you need is a little sweetness to make it through the day. 3. Canned beans. When disaster hits and people start stocking up, they don't just grab random snacks. They go for food that lasts, feeds a family, and actually fills you up. And that's why canned beans are always among the first things to vanish from store shelves. They're cheap, nutritious, and seriously versatile. Black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, doesn't matter. Once panic sets in, people are grabbing cans like they're going out of style. Stores feel it fast. Shelves that used to hold neat rows of beans suddenly look like a ghost town. People are buying by the dozen, tossing them into carts like they're gold. Some even switch types just to grab whatever's left. And let's be real, beans aren't just for dinner. In emergencies, they become the base of almost every meal, mixed with rice, tossed into soups, or eaten straight from the can when things get chaotic. Plus, they've got staying power. No need for refrigeration, no cooking required. If you don't want to bother, just open and eat. Simple as that. Online prices jump. Retailers limit how many cans one person can buy, and suddenly that $1 per can deal feels like a treasure. So, yeah, while they might not look flashy on a shelf, canned beans definitely belong here. Because when the power's out and the fridge is empty, a few cans of beans can mean the difference between hungry and full, and that's something everyone can appreciate. 2. Canned tuna. When disaster hits and people start clearing out the pantry aisle, canned tuna is one of the first things to vanish, and for good reason. It's light, it's packed with protein, and it lasts forever on the shelf. No refrigeration needed, no cooking required, just open and eat. Whether you mix it into pasta, slap it on crackers, or go full survival mode and eat it straight from the can, it's a meal that keeps you going when everything else feels uncertain. Stores feel the rush fast. Shelves that used to hold neat rows of tuna cans go completely bare overnight. People are grabbing multiple pouches and tins just in case. Some even switch brands just to get something in their cart. And let's be real, tuna isn't just for lunch. In emergencies, it becomes breakfast, dinner, and every snack in between. Pair it with rice, throw it in a sandwich, or just eat it cold with a spoon, whatever works when the power's out. Online prices jump. Retailers limit how many one person can buy. And suddenly that $1 tuna pouch becomes something you guard like gold. So yeah, while it might not look like much sitting on a shelf, canned tuna definitely belongs here. Because when the world gets weird and your fridge goes dark, a few cans of tuna can mean the difference between starving and surviving. And that's something every prepper, casual diner, or budget saver can appreciate. 1. Toilet paper. Let's not beat around the bush. When disaster hits, people panic, and what do they grab first? Not water, not food, nope. They go straight for the toilet paper. And honestly, it makes sense. Because no matter how tough you are or how prepared you think you are, nobody wants to be caught without TP when things go sideways. Stores feel it every time. Whether it's a hurricane warning, a blackout, or just a weird news cycle, shelves that used to hold endless rolls of toilet paper suddenly look like a wasteland. People start grabbing packs like they're going out of style. 12 packs, 24 packs, even those giant warehouse bundles no one normally buys. And let's be real, toilet paper isn't just about comfort. It's about hygiene, dignity, basic human function. Without it, things get creative. Newspapers, paper towels, wet wipes, sure, they work in a pinch,